We study a book in which God tests his people all the time, and yet we live our lives as if God will never test us. We don't ponder enough what God's tests are revealing and in what ways we then need to be growing. In life, what happens when we don't pass the test? What happens? Years ago, it was about 18 years ago, I sought to get my CDL, license with air brake and passenger endorsements. I was a junior varsity basketball coach, and administration decided that I needed to be able to drive the team where the team needed to go. What happened when I didn't pass my pre-trip air brake inspection test? What happened? Did they look at me, so young, so debonair, and say, "Hey man, you're good"? No. Did they accept my bribe? No. They made me retake the test. Well, I have good news to report. The third time was the charm. Okay? Now watch this. Lest you think I'm just riffing. What is going to happen in Exodus chapter 16 and 17? Do you know that this is the first of 3 sequential narratives that focus on Israel's lack of faith, Israel's tendency to grumble and complain, and God's patience and goodness to faithfully supply? What's going to happen when Israel fails this first test? They're going to have to retake it over and over again. What about you, beloved? What aspect of your faith has God been seeking to build, but you just haven't fully cooperated with? Perhaps God's been testing your ability to take your thoughts captive. Why is that so important? Would you like to know his peace? Here's how it comes. You take your thoughts captive. That's a good thing for your God to seek to do in your life. Quit fighting God. Quit signing up to retake the test. Perhaps God has been testing your commitment to biblical reconciliation. You say, okay, what's that? I'm talking about you have a problem with a brother or sister, you go to them first with a word of correction. Communication. You then appropriately respond with confession, forgiveness, full restoration. Perhaps God has been testing your love for him. You know, it's amazing. Though it's the oldest book in the Bible, though it's one of the larger books of the Bible, how often and quickly we forget the book of Job. And why did all that happened to Job happen to Job? Well, one of the primary reasons, you read Job chapter 1, God was testing Job's love. According to John chapter 14, our Lord in heaven is preparing a place for his people. And according to Romans 8, our Lord, through the circumstances of our lives, is preparing his people for that place. Romans 8, we know that all things work together for good to conform us to the image of his Son.